Hi, welcome to About That Action. I'm your host, Will, and I have a special guest, CEO, businesswoman, Ebony Spratley, right?
It's Ebony Chanel. Chanel. We're gonna just drop the Spratley for now.
Oh, we taking it off?
Just Ebony Chanel, yes.
See, and I remember you as McGleese, right?
Yes.
That's how I remember you as McGleese. That's what we're going up in. So I definitely want to start from let the people know who you are and where you from.
So let's start off where I'm from, because I not explain how we know each other. So I'm from the Bronx.
Right, yeah.
Born and raised.
BX. All day.
But so now though, from that little girl growing up in the Bronx, I'm actually now residing in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
I've been out here for about 3 years now.
Okay.
And I actually left New York, dropping out of corporate America and jumping into entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. I started my own business back in 2014. The first one I started was a public relations company when I was still in New York. That company just assisted a lot of independent artists with their artist development and just branding, kind of like development back then. And then when I got out here, I realized that once an independent artist gets to a certain level, that it's going to be a lot more of just projects. So I don't have to worry about developing them anymore. I can just now work with them on projects. So that's where the birth of Forever Adult Management came in. I just saw a need in the independent industry for someone who can just organize and keep track of projects, while the creatives just be creative.
Right. So I'm gonna get into all that, but let's try to go back to the beginning. Let's go back to your upbringing. I know you said you were born in the Bronx. Let's talk about your father, mother. Can we touch on that? How many siblings, or how was it growing up in the Bronx and whatnot?
So it's interesting that you asked that. I have a pretty unique upbringing story. I consider myself I am a middle child, and throughout my life, I seem to have kind of stayed in the middle. So my mother and father, they're both, thank God, still alive. My mother and father did get divorced when I was about 9 years old. So I did have to deal with the separation of my family. Right. And then upon the separation, both of them started new families. So that was also something that I had to get used to. But I think with that happening at an early age, I'm gonna consider them half brothers and sisters. My sisters and brothers, there's about 7 of us now, and we don't act like we're step brothers, step sisters. We just have this natural brother sister relationship between all of us. So even though it was kind of weird growing up, I think it taught me how to be accepting of a lot of things at an early age. And how to, I guess, lead with love, because that's all I think I saw my parents doing. I think they were just leading with love, even though they didn't stay together.
And I think that's dope. I also have siblings from I always like to say my father was like a rock star. He just kind of sowed the seeds. he just kind of spread love across the Bronx.
Across the Bronx.
They spread love across the Bronx. Some of us are close, some of them we aren't. I guess that's just the way it is. I just learned to accept it. When I was younger, it was more. I would have wanted more closeness, but it didn't happen. You get older, you move on, and go from there. So, how close you are to your family, and how much of influence were your parents to you? So, doing a little, I don't know, not even doing a little research, even prior to this conversation, I think I saw that you was putting up things about, I think your father was, if I'm not mistaken, an actor, right? He was doing some acting. So how close you are, and how much influence was your parents, and also your father, someone I know he's of older age, still pursuing his dream?
So I'm actually happy you asked me that question. They've played major influence in my life, both good and what I would have considered in the past bad.
Mhm.
But when you're young, you don't realize that your parents are just trying. So you want what you want from them, and they can't deliver. So you kind of grow this animosity against them. And so I was at that place as a young adult for a long time where I did kind of estrange from my family a little bit. And even though I did, I still feel like my family's influence was still on me as I was out in the world trying to figure things out on my own.
Mhm.
So that acting, the modeling my mom did, the fact that I was like a workaholic at one point. So even though I wasn't with them, I was still being what I saw kind of growing up and what I got from my parents. It wasn't until maybe, so I was estranged from my family probably from 19 to about maybe late 20s
What you
before
mean
I started
strange?
getting
You
back
just
in
not.
contact.
You just stopped talking.
Well, we had a few different falling outs, but mainly it was, I think it was me just trying to find my place. Everybody in the family had their own thing going on, and I think at the time I just felt like I needed to have something of my own going
Mhm.
on. And so just with my personality stuff, I was just like, I'm going out into the world and I'm gonna figure it out. I don't want any help. Leave me alone. I'm gonna do it.
Right.
So I did that. But my family has always still been around to like catch me if I fall. So they're very much a big influence, both my mother and my father. Even some of the decisions that I thought that they shouldn't have made, like I always wanted them to stay together. But
Right.
as I'm an adult now and going through relationships, I'm realizing that they had to make the decisions that were best for them. So still influencing me to this day.
Right. It's funny because and that's important you say that because I say that as a kid you always think that they first you think they know everything. You think as an adult you think they know everything, but you don't realize that we're all just like just learning every day and we never quite arrive anywhere. You know what I mean? Anywhere. It's just like a lifelong journey with just learning and stuff like that. And I think that's the same thing I remember with my parents. You think they got it, but really they don't. You know what I mean? And really, as you get older and you be in relationships, you understand that the dynamic of it, the
Yeah.
dynamic of it. So yeah, do you consider yourself introvert, extrovert?
It's weird. I'm a little bit of both. I can be an introvert. I recharge best when I'm introverted, but I can be as social as a butterfly. It just depends on, I guess, the day, maybe. But
Right.
yeah, I have a little bit of both.
So right now you said you reside in Atlanta, correct?
Yep.
And I know you touched on it a little bit, but when did you leave and just why?
So I left New York in 2016
Mhm.
and I came down here because I felt like New York was capping, I guess. I felt like with what I had to offer, I wasn't around the right group of people. I felt like I was working from my heart and I was giving, giving people me from my heart as opposed to what everybody else was just trying to take money. So it felt like this crab in a barrel type of
Mhm.
situation.
Mhm.
And I wanted to be somewhere where I can be me and not have to be, I don't know if I can curse, but not have to be a bitch, not
Go
have to
ahead, do
be
what you gotta
somebody.
do.
Everybody was telling me like you have to be this way, you have to be that way, you have to be this way, and none of that. You know me from when I was younger. I'm not that kind of person to be a bitch
Right,
just all of a sudden in order to
right.
get paid. You're gonna respect me one way or another, but I just felt like I needed to try somewhere else, and Atlanta has always been someplace that I wanted to be. I actually wanted to go to college down here, but we couldn't afford it. And I just was like, Atlanta, let's go.
Nah,
And I just packed up and came. It was literally the most risk taking time of my life. I literally put in my 2 weeks notice at my job, didn't care about whether I was gonna have employment or not, packed my bags and I was on a flight. And a lot of things happened
mhm.
because of that. But I made it through. It's all good.
Um, I I think that's dope. I know a lot of people, and I'm gonna touch base on more of that a little later. But I think that's dope. I think a lot of people, um, a lot of people don't do that. I understand that there might have been a lot of, I guess, it been real risky. Not everybody can't do that, but I think sometimes is more of a risk staying stuck. You know what I mean? It's more hard staying stuck. So talk about how difficult that transition was from actually leaving New York to Atlanta.
So it was scary, honestly.
Mhm.
I will be honest, I cried the first night that I was down here when it all kind of hit me that I was in a whole other place. And I'm like that. I'm the type to be like, yeah. And then after it all said to,
Mm,
I'm like, what in the world?
what did I just do? What did I just do?
But no, it was scary, but I knew for I want to say the first month that I was good. Like I had enough money saved up. I had enough like I had enough passion to figure it out when I first got down here.
Right.
And then so now it's been about 3 years. So that first excitement that vanishes. And then reality really sits in and it's like, okay, you have to figure out now how to live somewhere else. Not just it's not vacation. It's not like you're coming and you're going back home. You have to live here and figure out how to get your day to day together and get to know people and get to know places and things. So it took a minute. I want to say that when I first got down here, driving Uber was something that I picked up first, and that helped me a lot with figuring out how to get around down here. Because being from New York, we like to know where we at. I don't like to be nowhere where I don't know where I'm at. So
Right, right, right.
I
So
definitely,
you drove
huh?
Uber. You drove.
Yes, I did. When I first got down here, I hustled.
So you Uber driver. But you know what? That's
I did.
that.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Nah, nah. But that's dope. But I think a lot of times they don't. People see the start and they see the end. It's that in between that grinding and that grit that's necessary. And a lot of people don't get the chance to kind of see.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, well, it was Uber, Lyft. I was walking dogs with Wag. I was hustling. When I tell you I was hustling when I first got down here, but then it started to kind of slow down. I started to catch my breath and cool down. So, but no, when I first got down here, it was like I never left New York. It was, I got hustle, got hustle, got hustle.
Nah,
Yeah.
you have to. That's definitely dope. So let's talk about when did this love for I guess music begin? The love for that.
My love for music. Whew, that is music and I are like long-term friends, I guess. Since I was little, I used
Mm,
to go to sleep to like the Quiet Storm when I was younger. As soon as I was able to have a radio in my room, and I want to
the
say I
quiet
was probably like
storm.
maybe 8, 9, yeah, all of that, watching BET videos at night and after school, and so music has always been a part of my life.
Hmm.
I didn't think that I was gonna take it this seriously until mm, my brother, he had a studio down in his basement in my mom's basement when we were a little bit younger, probably like I'm gonna say maybe 8, 9 years ago. And we just kind of started playing around down there. But me and my little brother, we used to do that with, as a matter of fact, with Sheree. When Sheree used to come over to my house in Brooklyn, we used to play around and play on the radio and sing and just for play. So we did that, and I just started taking it seriously. I saw that it could become something before it even became anything. They told me to write a verse, and I wrote a verse and made them have to go back and write their verses. I was like,
Okay.
okay, maybe there's something to this. And I don't know, it just was like an instant love. I fell in love with it. And I didn't want to create music, though. I wanted to curate the people who create music. That's where I really fell in love with
Hmm.
it at.
Hmm. So what is your title? Uh,
Project, well, managing director of my company, but whenever I'm on a team or working with anyone else, I'm project manager.
And okay, what did that entail? What is that? What you do? What is a project manager?
Anything? No,
Everything you're supposed to do?
everything. No, so as a project manager, well, the specific type of project manager that I'm a creative project manager. So
Hmm.
I assist with bringing a creative concept to life. So if you sit down with me and you say, "Hey, Eb, I'm looking to put on this video, and I don't really know who I want in it. I just know what kind of concept that I have." I bring that to life. Whatever it was that you're thinking, we bring that to life within a matter of between 3 and maybe 6 months, depending on how big the project is. And if it's smaller than that, then it goes by a lot quicker. So I'm low key like a plug. People call me because they know I know a lot of
You
stuff
know
on
what's
how
to
to
do.
people.
So, what are some of the
Yeah.
what's some of the big projects you've done? How big?
So to date, and it's still in production, but to date, the biggest thing that I've worked on, which I only call it the biggest because it has the most names that people would know outside of independent. I feel like independent artists are all creative, but not everybody knows them yet. So my biggest
Uh,
notable project so far is I'm working on an audiobook series with I don't know if you know his name, but Alonzo Brown. He was the
Sound
second half
familiar?
of the Jekyll and Hyde rap group from back in the days with Andre Harrell.
Yeah, that sound familiar. That sound familiar because I be into that stuff too. But that do sound familiar.
Yes, so he's doing a audio book with Cynthia Bailey, and I'm the production manager on that. So I did the casting, I booked the writers and all that stuff. So I'm the person that keeps everything together and make sure that we have something at the end.
So all this come through. All of this come through from your company, right? All this is from
Yes,
your company.
yes, yes.
So I noticed that you've been kind of dipping and dabbling in what modeling and being an actress.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Dipping and dabbling. So that's something that I was doing when I was younger that a lot of people don't know. My mom had me modeling and acting as a kid, and I actually at maybe like 13, I told her that I didn't want to do it anymore because I didn't want to wake up early. I was tired of eating this, and I just didn't want the demands of being in that industry at that time.
Hmm.
And I've always just kind of stayed away from it. And it wasn't until I got down here and as I was trying to figure out, how to get on my feet down here, I was like, God, what am I supposed to be doing down here? And opportunities for modeling just kept coming my way and I would take them and I would love it. So I just was like, hey, maybe I'll just do this on the side for fun. So I've been doing modeling and acting just because it's something that is fun to me. I love getting dressed up and because the other stuff that I do is not glamorous. The project management is all behind the desk. I'm taking calls. I'm booking this. I look crazy. My hair's a mess. So acting and modeling give me an opportunity to finally like dress up and play dress up and look pretty and feel good about myself. So it kind of balanced out my, I guess, my day. Well, not my day, my career more so. So it's not all work and it's some play.
So it allows you to, I guess, to use your creative side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So you came down there. So you was Ubering, you was walking dogs, and you just you just you just walked into a door to ask you to model, like Ubering.
You know what? I think it was one of my girlfriends had said she wanted to do a photo shoot for me, and that's what really set it off. Because after the photos, I was like, "Oh, these are nice."
So you sent them out to agencies or?
No, so the good thing about being in Atlanta is you don't need an agent down here. You can get yourself in the door down here. That's the big difference between
Mhm.
up there and down here that I found. It was very difficult to get into doors up there. You had to know somebody that knew somebody that knows somebody. Even if you did know somebody, that person will still like steer you in the wrong direction just so they can get
Mhm.
from you. But down here, I feel like everybody is trying to get somewhere and there's enough opportunities for everybody down here.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
just, are you willing to go and get it down here? So that's the difference.
So with that being the difference, what do you think is the difference far as from that same dynamic in New York versus down here?
Um, honestly, it's hard to say. I genuinely love the work ethic from up top because you know who you're working with. You know the type of person you're dealing with. Up there, if you're a nice person, we know. If you're not a nice person, we know, and we stay clear from you. Down here, it's hard to tell because everybody has this nice front first.
Mhm.
So I ran into a lot of, I'm a nice person, so I ran into a lot of nice first front people, and then only to find out later on that it wasn't so much so. So that's the difference also, compared to New York. But I like that about New York. When you deal with somebody up there, you know what it is.
So let's talk about the your YouTube series that Atlanta Ugly, and it got you, you know, yes,
Atlanta's ugly.
yeah,
I'm the mayor
Miss
on there.
Miss
Yes.
Miss Mayor. Hmm.
We actually did a photo shoot last night for the cover. Um, that web series I've been on now for, I think I got in there in season 3. So season 3, season 4, and I'm gonna be in season 5 once it starts. Season 4 is just, I think we just wrapped
I think it
season.
is. So what is it basically about?
So before I got involved, it was a street gang drama, drug killing show. And then actually that was one of those opportunities that came my way, and it was like, whether, it's open, if you want it, go get it. The director had put up a post looking for somebody to play the mayor, and I went to the audition and I got it.
Hmm.
So it's an improv show, which is really cool because it's my first acting, literally my first acting opportunity. So there wasn't as much pressure for me to have to learn the script. So a lot of it was improvised. So I've been able to grow from when I first got on and being a little scared in front of the camera to now actually this new season that we just did. Really proud of myself for actually bringing more character to the mayor and bringing her life. Some of the feedback I've gotten about the mayor is that a lot of people appreciate the fact that I keep her natural. So I like that because I like to represent my
Yeah.
natural hair. So yeah, a lot of people have given the director feedback and say like they really appreciate the fact that the mayor is natural. I'm like, I'm just doing my hair.
Hmm.
It wasn't planned, but I like that. I always want to make sure that I'm representing appropriately.
So when you mean improv, it's just there's no script.
No. So there's a storyline and we stick to the storyline, but we're able to give the character what we need to give them at any given
So tell me how does that look? I'm just trying to I'm trying
moment.
to be so you have this, so just tell me, just kind of going for this the storyline, and then as long as you stay within those guidelines.
Yes. So with social distancing, well, with COVID and social distancing, this makes it a whole lot easier now. So whoever is filming on that day, we usually get together and he'll have a storyline already in his head that he wants to kind of connect, or we left off from somewhere. The season usually starts off with a storyline and he just kind of bridges the gap all the way to the end. And based off of what the scene is supposed to be about, we can give it what we want to give it. So if, for example, I don't want to give it away, but as the mayor, there's somebody that I'm supposed to be going back and forth with in this new season. And sometimes we go back and forth in a nasty manner,
Hmm.
and sometimes we go back and forth in a more professional manner.
Hmm.
But we still always go back and forth. So it's like there's 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 realms, there's boundaries, but we can be as free as we want to in the boundaries, like what we say, how we say it. So the mayor of New York has a real New York
New York, that's New York.
sound.
Right, right, right. So the character can't just all of a sudden. she pregnant. Can't just start bringing stuff
No,
up like that. Right.
no, they were trying to put a hit out on me though, but we'll see how that goes.
So that's
But it's
basically
fun.
it seems fun. I ain't get a chance to check it out, but I'm gonna definitely check it out. Let's talk about the I guess the companies that you own. That
Yes.
you what are those?
So Ebony Inc., a
Hmm.
public relations company, that is a public relations company. No,
Hmm.
that company is the one I started back in 2014. Yes, 2014, where I just gave advice more so, and I assisted with brand development to like small artists, underground artists in New York, and also in a few of those artists also came from like Virginia. Once I started picking up speed, I started getting more clients in other places while I was still in New York. So I was working with people outside of New York, helping them with their registrations and just guidance, letting them know like you need to register your songs with X, Y, and Z. You need to start making royalties on your music. You need to start putting a plan. And so that company was more so just advice. And then
That's the Ebony public relations
mhm,
one. Okay.
yep, yep, more so advice and consultations. When it really started getting hands on is with Forever Dope Management. Both the companies, though, they both service the entertainment, fashion, and nonprofit industries,
Hmm.
which means that I work on any entertainment project, whether it's a show, a music, something, anything entertainment, music video, album, all of those things. And then when it comes to fashion, working with models and designers and fashion houses to create whatever they need to create. And then with nonprofits, being able to organize nonprofit events as well as giving companies who are looking to do more community relations type of things, giving them strategies and ideas on how they can make their company more community friendly. So I'm a walking brain, honestly. Everything is really much, it's pretty much intellectual for me. You give me an idea and I just make it grow.
Right, right. So no schooling, just
No, this was all just the hard knock life.
right. No, do you think there are benefits to just kind of going into it, or do you think school would have been a good, I guess, benefit for you?
I think it's per person. For me personally, it was never going to be school. And I might get some backlash for that, but I have to be honest with certain people who might not, who might be like me as well, who was like, it just never was school for me. And I'm still trying to bark up this school thing because everybody says that I need to go to school. If it's just not for you, then it's not for you. I'm still very intelligent, but I have to be honest. I have my GED. I decided to drop out because they lost my records, and I wasn't trying to go back to school. It's not that I'm stupid. I don't have time for all of that. So I dropped out to get my GED so I can go enroll in college, so I can get my degree. I have my associates, but I ended up getting that online because at the time I was married to someone who had a daughter and I was helping him take care of his daughter. So I was a full time mom and going to school. So I went to school online. And this was before everybody else was going to school online. This was when it was not popular. So I got a lot of backlash back in 2008, like, oh, that's not a real degree or whatever. But I did. I had to do what I had to do back then because I was on a mission. I wanted to have what I wanted to have when I wanted to have it. And I think just that kind of determination early in my life really pushed me to, once I was done at corporate America, feeling like there's nothing here for me in this job. I want more. I want purpose. That decision to make that, oh, I'm just gonna go and see what that's about. It came from just me always being like that. Oh well, y'all talking about a whole nother year. I gotta go. So that kind of motivation, just for anybody who's questioning themselves on why is this not working for me, because maybe there's just something more, and you gotta kind of find it. You have to look for it, and maybe it's not where everybody else is looking in the books or in school. Maybe it's out in the world where you have to figure out, how to talk to people and be around people. Maybe your moneymaker is just you. And that's what I've been having to learn, that I can make any kind of product. I can make a pen and I can sell a pen, but that's not where my purpose personally is, not in pens. So I had to figure out, okay, well, what is it for me that I'm doing, and what is it that I'm supposed to be doing that makes me feel good, and then I can also be able to be of service to others. So that's how my two companies, but right now the main focus is Forever Dope Management, because Forever Dope Management really embodies everything that I've always wanted to do, where it's all in one. I love entertainment, I love fashion, I love community service, I love giving people good advice, I love seeing finished products. It's everything that I've always wanted to do, but it just didn't happen one day. I had to figure it out over time. And it took a long time for me to not only just realize that that's what I love to do, but also accept it, because it goes against everything that I was taught. I was taught you got to go to school, graduate, get your degree, work a job, buy a house, buy a car, do this. And I'm going a whole nother direction. I want to get a business first, then get all of those things later. So it's not in the order of ideal ways, but it's my way and it's working for me.
There, there, there is no right way. And I had a conversation with someone before. Same thing you said is kind of breaking the norm. Like we're told to kind of go to school, go, get a job, get a 401k, get a house, and move on. And a lot of people kind of breaking from that now.
Yep. And it feels good. It's hard though, because it's hard. But it feels good because you just not following the norms. And every time you get another little accomplishment that proves that you're right, that's what it is the reward, the biggest reward about it.
And also, so many people that do have that degree or that paper that is probably not nearly as close.
I have one, and it never got me anything. I have my associates in accounting, as a matter of fact. And accounting is the one thing that I hate sitting down to do. I hate doing my accounting. I love being everywhere else and doing everything else. But it definitely was a sign for me that maybe entrepreneurship was more up my
But even with that, but do you think certain doors are closed or you can't get into a lot quicker because you don't have that?
alley. Oh yeah, there is there's been a lot of closed doors because there's no company behind me. But I can remember also when I was working for a company and I was able to get in a lot of doors and stuff like that. Like the last company that I worked at, they sent me to Paris. There was a lot of different events that I was at, and all of that was fine, but it wasn't fulfilling. And you have to come to a point in time in your life when you're like, is what I'm doing fulfilling, or is it just putting money in my pockets so I could hang out with these same people? And I just felt like I was hanging out with the same co-workers after work. We're doing happy hour. We got a company party. Like, it was just a routine.
You're on this same roller
Yeah.
coaster, the same, the same
We even
the
started
race.
dressing alike. They're like corporate colors. I was like, this is I can't do this. Blues and whites and khakis. It was just
Right, right, right. It definitely would put you into that whole different, well, the same type of realm. So, with your two companies, what does the day to day operation look like for you, or the original one?
Okay, so the only thing that's a staple in my day is my mornings.
Hmm.
That's it. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to have some type of routine. But if you think that it's gonna be all routine, then you are definitely barking up the wrong tree, because I've tried to keep this calendar. Doesn't work. There's always something that comes up. There's always something that maybe somebody canceled. You have to make a quick change to go do something here. But what I've learned to have is a morning routine so that I can be prepared for the day to go as chaotic as it needs to go without me losing my shit. So in the mornings, I meditate, I listen to positive music all throughout the morning. I listen to affirmations the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, open my eyes. I don't even get out the bed. I just get my phone, go right onto YouTube and play some affirmations. And then normally I would like to get back to, but like I said, sometimes things change. So normally I'll go to the gym for about 45 minutes, get cardio, um, and then breakfast, and then I'll start work. That will be a perfect morning start. But sometimes
Right.
I don't even get to do all of that. But ideally, that's what my morning routine is, and that's what will set up the day. But the more you do your morning routine, sometimes you can take a day off from a morning routine because you've had enough of, that calming to get you going for the day. But
You
yeah.
you sound like me. That's the first thing I try to do is get those things done. And I don't know the name of the book, but it was the name of the book. He was talking about always make your bed. You know what I mean? It just do things that's kind of set you up for your day or
Yes.
set you up for success.
The
For,
bed thing is very important. There's been some times where I've neglected to
no,
make the bed and the day was just messy.
no, 'cause it does something about it clears your space and clears your mind. That's one thing I try to do. I try to do that, and also try to keep my car clean, even though it's not at the moment. But it it kind of open up space for your brain, clears things. You know, when I have a cluttery space, it kind of have a cluttery mind as
Yes,
well.
this is
What
true.
what advice you have for someone that maybe want to do what you do or just want to start it? What steps?
I would say get out of your head. And that's something that I wish somebody would have told me early on as well. If you feel it, go for it, but get out your head. Yeah, the
Mm,
head sometimes can be the worst place for you to be in sometimes. You gotta go by how you feel. If it feels good, go for it. If it doesn't feel good, then don't go for it. At the end of the day, go with how you feel and get out your head. That's the best advice.
I agree. A lot of times we kind of we put other people's fears on us.
Yes.
It's a
Yep.
lot.
And vice versa. Other people put their fears on us, and if we're too much in our head, then we end up going with what they say.
Right.
But if we stay here, then they can say what they want to say. I know how I feel in my heart. You ain't gonna change that.
Right. Because one thing I'm a big old overthinker. Like I will think, rethink. And like you said, sometimes you just gotta just you
Go.
gotta you gotta just go. Um, talk about the I guess the Southeast Independent Award.
So I did not win, but
That's fine. That's all good.
but no, I was actually very excited that I was nominated because that nomination came at a time when I was actually going through a hard time.
Hmm.
And that's actually the second time that that happens. That's also some good advice to anyone who's looking to go out on a journey like this. You never know when the blessings are coming and what shape or form they're going to come in, but just being willing to accept them as they come. Because if I was too much into where I was, then that award, getting that nomination, it wouldn't have felt like anything. It just been like, oh, whatever. I'm not gonna win anyway. But I
Hmm.
was so excited when I got it because I was in a really funky place at the time,
Hmm.
and it just was like divine timing that I got the nomination. So regardless of if I won or not, I still was excited about the nomination, just the acknowledgement. I've been working so hard, and that too, you don't really get a lot of acknowledgement in the beginning. A lot of your friends and family, your close people, they don't
You
really
talking?
understand as much as you think that they would or you wish that they will and they won't, and that's okay. I had to learn that that's okay. It doesn't make them any less your family, but you can't take that personal. You have to still, follow your heart, follow what feels right to you, and not impose their fears onto your situation. Sometimes it's okay to isolate yourself to kind of move forward and then let everybody back in once you have a clear understanding of what you're doing and where you're going.
So, what? How do they rate you? How do they pick?
How do they? So for that one, I believe that SCI was a sorry, the SCI was a vote, I believe, and
Okay.
that's why I don't. Oh, I don't know if COVID messed it up because in the beginning, my votes was good. Everybody was voting for me. I remember I had people fighting to vote for me again. But I think COVID messed all of that up for that to be as organic as it really was. But it was okay. I don't think I would have wanted to be in that room with that many people because they ended up having it live still. At first, it was supposed to be online. They had pushed the date back, and so it was a mess, but it was okay. I won the year before the Atlanta Hip Hop Awards for what is it, Female Industry MVP 2019.
So it's like so they voting for people with, I guess, leadership.
For the SEI or for Atlanta Hip Hop.
Either both.
So yeah, so what's really cool out here, that they do have a lot of independent artists that are doing big things. There's a whole industry of independence, and these awards are put on by people in this industry. So the Atlanta Hip Hop Awards is put on by I think his name is Rico Owens,
Hmm.
and he works. He's in the independent industry, so he knows all the rappers who are working, who are making videos, and
Hmm.
who's doing things out here. So Atlanta's pretty small. Once you're out in this environment and you're in the industry out here, people are gonna know who you are and what you're doing, and people talk out here, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, I know her, or I worked with her, or I've been somewhere with her before, him, and the word kind of gets around down here because the circles are small.
Hmm.
So that's how I was able to. I got nominated the first year that no, excuse me. The first year I came down here, I was actually on the media carpet as media at the award show. So I didn't even know anybody that was there. I just came as media. And then within a year of me working out here, they ended up not only nominating me, but I ended up winning the award. So
Oh, cool.
that's how fast you can move down here.
I see. So how important that was, kind of receiving that even nomination or even winning the hip hop one. How important was that recognition from, I guess, your peers?
It was extremely important. I have a picture of myself winning the Atlanta Hip Hop Awards, and I'm standing just in the middle of a bunch of guys, big names. Hood Rich Films was there, King James, just other names that have been doing things for years out here. And it was just an honor to be like the little lady in the middle, just I'm in this too kind of thing.
Right.
So that felt really good. It felt really good to be acknowledged because I do work hard. A lot of the times, the stuff that I do doesn't really get put on display because a lot of it is motivating. A lot of it is guidance in the background, having conversations and phone calls. So the fact that while I'm doing that, some way, somehow, somebody found out about stuff that I'm doing over there and they want to acknowledge me for it. That was definitely, both times were definitely necessary for my journey. Not only necessary for my journey because that just prepares me for the future when I get a big award.
Hmm.
So if you don't go through it, if you don't grow through it, then you'll never get to it. So I was just glad that I was able to experience that then to open up opportunity for it to happen on a bigger scale in the future.
Right. You want an Emmy too, right?
Okay. I want an Emmy, I want a Grammy.
How important those is, I guess, those relationships. Even
Relationships are extremely important. I'm learning that, and I'm now learning how to have better relationships with people. I just and that's kind of goes off of what we talked about earlier, just how I grew up with my family kind of being everywhere and me having this I like to kind of be on my own kind of thing. That has carried on, but I'm realizing how it's going to be a little bit of a hindrance if I keep thinking that I need to just kind of do it on my own. I now need to learn how to nourish my relationships and be present for my relationships and nurture them, and just not that I wasn't nurturing them before. I think that I was nurturing them from just here and I'm gone. Like, I'm gonna give you this and then I'm out of here. No kind of like follow up after that. Like, hey, how you doing? Let's hang out kind of thing. So that's gonna be important going forward because I'm assuming that once the income changes, your circle gets really tight, and I need to make sure that my circle is tight.
I agree.
Yes, I need to really make sure I know who's around me now. So
Why do you think you why do you think you do that? Why do you think you kind of I know you want to go, but why do you think you have to kind of like almost like touch and go? Hey, how you doing? And keep it moving.
it's funny. My a friend of mine that I was with just before we got on this call, we spoke about this
Hmm.
earlier, and it's fear. Fear of rejection.
Hmm.
I experienced a lot of rejection early on, so it's a coping mechanism. So I'm gonna, dip and dash before you do, so I don't
Yeah,
feel rejected.
before you don't do it. Yep.
Exactly. So, but I'm not afraid of rejection anymore now that I am who I am today. So me nurturing a relationship and then if it fails or doesn't fail, now it won't be as impactful as it used to be before. It used to be like, oh my God, I'm losing people. I don't care. Like
Now, you sound like me because I think for me, I think I've been having a well, I used to have a hard time just not having that. But I'm getting older. I'm realizing, people got their own life. People doing a lot of different things, so it's
yeah,
okay.
it's okay. And it
It's okay.
doesn't take away anything from the time when you do get to spend with them. It shouldn't matter how much time you didn't spend with them. What should just matter is that moment.
Right. So I saw you. I told you the picture. Legacy Center. How was
Yes,
that? How was that? I know about the Jay Morrison and all that. How was that? I always
yes,
wanted to go.
yes. Well, if you ever come down here, you should definitely go over there. And if you get an opportunity to link up with those folks, they are doing amazing things down
See,
here
I can see.
and all over. I know they're buying property and they have like investor groups and stuff like that, which is really, really nice. The Legacy Center is beautiful. I went to the grand opening, and I
Oh, okay.
think I went back again for like a little that picture was at like a seminar or something like
Hmm.
that. But yeah, they are just two beautiful people who really care about the community, and they're in the community. So you go to an event, you can see them. I've seen them several times and been shoulder to shoulder. I was actually dancing with them. They did an event on, I think it was called a thousand men, a thousand women, something like that. It was just something at the park, and no, I danced with them twice. Yeah, no, I danced with them
Hmm.
twice in the park and at the grand opening. I was right there with them doing like the electric slide or whatever. But
Yeah, it
yeah,
looked dope. I mean, I know that he Jay Morrison kind of do the corner classes that I think is kind of dope for the
that's what it
community.
was.
Yeah.
Yep, it was a
So
corner class.
I think that um what is one of the things that keep you motivated in the morning to keep going?
That has evolved over the years. At one point in my life, it was the fear of not being able to pay my rent.
Because that'll
It
do it.
got me up to go to work. Now it's purpose.
Right.
I know I have a purpose. I know I have something that I'm supposed to give the world, and that's what gets me up every day.
Right, right. What is the most, I guess, impactful book that you've read?
The most impactful book was um I want to say You're a Badass by Jen Sincero.
I read that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And so you probably understand. I need that real talk. Like,
Me too.
don't baby talk me. Tell me exactly what it is. And I just loved her delivery. It was just like she was in your ass. I'm like, I love this book.
And I had to actually listen to the audio.
Yeah, I listened to the audio.
Because it's different. Because she coming off, you can kind of hear where she coming from with that.
Yes, and her accent, it just makes it all the better.
100%. That's a good book. Also, 50 New Book is good. The Hustler book.
Oh, okay. I didn't read that one. I did start reading 50 Laws.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And it's another one I can't remember right now, but if I remember, I will send it to you. But it's definitely good. Do you feel successful?
Oh yes, I do.
Right? They got, it almost feels like the new success is how many followers you got, right?
Not to me anyway.
I mean, you got about, what you got, like over 10, right? That's it.
Probably collectively, I probably have like 13,000 followers.
13,000.
But that's not where my success, because ain't nobody on that social media paying me for anything.
So that's what I was gonna say. Does that equate to business or money? Actuality?
No, it does not. No. For me, anyway, success is how better I am than I used to be.
Right.
Success is how my living situation improves. Success is to me anyway, it's a personal thing. So anybody who's measuring my success based off of numbers, they a damn fool. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, the numbers do reflect, I guess, how I feel, but that's not, they don't have anything to do with one another when it comes to me. I utilize my social media to let people into who I already am, not as a way of validation for somebody that I'm trying to be. So I'm bringing my business, I'm bringing my talent, I'm bringing my thoughts to a platform where there's a whole bunch of other people's stuff going on. And I'm not really trying to compete with anybody. I'm just, this is me. And that's how I move when it comes to social media. So once I reach where I feel is my maximum level of success, that'll probably be shared too, but it's not determined off of social media or the people on there at all. Those sometimes are just like instant gratifications. If you want somebody to just give you some attention at one point in time, you can go to social media, and that's what that should just be for.
100%. Is this road lonely? This journey right here lonely?
Yes, but no. It's lonely because a lot of the work that you have to do on yourself, it's you that has to do it. So that's the only lonely part about it. Because there's so many different good people and energies that come around you once you calm yourself down and you're clear-minded. You meet so many different people that it's definitely not lonely. You actually want more time to yourself. Okay, go away.
I totally agree. What is it that you do to get out of a slump? Like you just feeling down.
Music. Yep, music. I have 2 playlists on my my Apple iPhone. So I have 2 moods. It's either I'm vibing or I'm talking my shit. So I have, Casanova, punch you in the face, knock your teeth out. That helps me relieve a lot of stress listening to those songs.
I'm sure.
Help me talk my shit just for a minute. But once I take off my headphones, I'm fine. So music is definitely, it helps with dealing with stress.
what is the most challenging thing in life right now for you?
Just waiting. I feel like I should have already arrived. So it's just like going through life as it's supposed to come when you're thinking 10, 20 years down the line every day. Every day I'm thinking, I already made it. I made it. I made it. I have this, I have that. The hardest part now is just waiting to get there.
What what um what making it? What does making it look like for you? How do you
It
gonna know?
looks
How do you know
just
you arrived?
It looks well, let me tell you what it looks like now. I feel like just personally, without the glitz, without the glamour, without the big house and this and that and third, I personally feel rich. I feel happy. I wake up happy. I go to sleep happy. I love talking to people. This wasn't the same Ebony a couple of years ago. That Ebony was stressed and sad, and family was estranged, and just problems financially and all of that. Everything was a problem. The shift, the work that I put into myself and getting myself better, now I'm happy. If $1 million came my way, not much would change. I would pay my bills and probably get a car and still do the same thing that I'm doing.
Dope. I like that. Dope. What do you think has prepared you for this or for that?
Definitely life. The first half of my life has prepared me for what's coming next. I know that I've kind of had the longer route. I had a route that was very constrained. A lot of things for me have been on pause. I had to learn a lot of things. I had to prepare myself for a lot of things. So now this next chapter of my life, where all of the seeds that I planted now comes to harvest, what prepared me for what's coming then is everything that I've been through. I now know that my family is my support system. I would never be estranged from my family again because I know that my family is my foundation. My whole family is my foundation. So I needed that where I'm going. I'm not about to go into this other world with all this money and thinking that I have people that love me and people that care about me in that world. No. So everything prepares you for your next big thing, no matter what it is, both the good and the bad. So I'm smarter now, I'm wiser now. Even over these last couple of days, like I've been tested with different people and having to tell people like no, and just there's a lot of things that you learn in your own journey that is going to prepare you for everything and anything that comes next. But you have to trust that and take it. Can't deny it. Can't be like, no, it's not. No, it is.
Right. Do you have a problem saying no?
I used to, yes.
You're a boss. You
Yes.
can't.
I know. So I would find really creative ways to say no. I'd be like, oh, maybe not now, or maybe later, or maybe next time. But no, I'm mastering the word no now.
Right. You was talking about your success. They say it take about, I think, a good 10 to 15 years just to kind of see it.
Yep, 10 years.
So it takes about 10 years, right? So what year
About
you on
10
your
years.
journey?
I am in year 8. If I had to put a number on when I first started to do this music thing, this was 8, going almost 9 years. So it's coming.
Right.
It's coming. It's almost there.
Has COVID and the quarantine, has it affected any business?
It did. Just before COVID hit, with my project management, I was putting a lot of events on together. I was going to be doing the Project Unity tour in 2020. I did Project Unity 19, and it was amazing. Everyone loved it. Everybody was looking forward to 2020. I had new ideas are ready to go, and COVID was like, not this year, ma'am. So eventually I lost the venue because we had a venue, lost the venue, and then the the host, who's a DJ up in New York, he was like that he doesn't think that we're gonna be doing it. So
Mhm.
That went out. That was rough. The first month and maybe the first month or two of COVID was really rough. Just I want to say emotionally for me, just because I was so ready to go once January hit. That's prime time for me to start getting,
Mhm.
projects up and running and
Mhm.
start planning out the rest of the year, the next 6 months, next quarter, and everything was just like up in the air. And I
Mhm.
didn't know where it was gonna fall or how or what. And so I just took that time, honestly, because I won't give it all away and say it was a bad time. I took that time to do more self development and really prepare myself for this business, educate myself, and I had to go through some things and learn how to be quarantined. That was a whole experience to get to know yourself in that environment. But COVID definitely was a pain in my ass. I will tell you
That's right. and,
that.
and and all of ours, to be honest with you. How what how did you handle it with, I guess, mentally, with your mental health?
That's where a lot of the routine started to come into play. Before that, it was difficult to get into a routine, but I think COVID helped with establishing the routine. I had no choice but to figure out a routine because that was the only
Right,
thing to do.
right, right.
So no, meditating, yoga, and also I started to put on some weight when I was in here. So I got back into working out. So those things really helped deal with the time. Time started going by a little bit faster with COVID.
Right. What about this protesting Breonna Taylor situation? What's your feelings on that?
So with the protests, being down here, I would have loved to be in New York around that
Mhm.
time just because that's my family. I would have loved to feel that energy. But being down here and experiencing it, because I was actually able to walk in one of them, and it was so empowering just to be around that energy. Down here, though, the civilians can carry their guns, so civilians had their guns out there, so it was a little different. I was a little scared, but I
It just
figured if
means
they
you need to
started
get one.
shooting, huh?
That just means you need to get one.
That's what everybody keeps saying. I don't want a gun. I feel like if I had a gun, I just want to pop off on everybody. Like, shut the fuck up.
Now they have
I'll be in jail by the time they give me the gun. Like,
they have classes geared towards women.
okay.
So
So
they
maybe I need to take a class first.
so you can, housewives and just women, because a lot of women don't feel comfortable having it.
Yeah.
But I understand it that at this time is necessary, to just have one to be able to protect yourself. So
Yeah. Especially with, like you asked, the Breonna Taylor situation. That it's so hard being a black woman right now because I'm angry. One, I know I shouldn't be angry, or rather, not shouldn't. I can't be angry because this whole angry black woman kind of thing. And and then three, it's like I still have to protect myself.
mm,
So it's hard, and I get it. Everybody has their hardships, but it's so hard as a black woman just listening to that Breonna Taylor case and how they did her dirt, because we know deep down inside as black women, we know they don't really care. So it's like, uh eventually, it took forever for the girls with R. Kelly situation to get him to justice. Like, I don't want to say I'm nonchalant about it. I just try to focus on being something before I'm nothing, I guess. It's such a fucked up way to think and the way to talk, but
mm.
it's true. It's so true. I'm focused on becoming something before I end up being a nothing or a name that people are telling people to remember me by. So,
So elaborate on that just a little bit.
mhm. So We all know there's the saying, Black women are the most underserved,
Mhm,
underprotected people. And there has to be, I guess, a feeling that comes with that. And I guess
mhm,
I feel that feeling that comes with that. Like if we're underserved and we're underprotected and we're this, that, and the third, I don't want to succumb, I don't want to succumb to that. I don't want to be that. I want to be something more than that. Maybe that's also, I don't want you to protect me. I don't want you to do that because you're not going to do it anyway, or you let us down, or you continue to let us down. So that, and I'm probably not the only one. A lot of other Black women. That's probably why we're so like, we just gotta go get it. We gotta figure it out ourselves. We gotta have a business. We gotta have a plan because there's been so many times where we've, I guess, made ourselves available to be protected by someone else or others, and we've been let down over and over and over again. So I think now most of us are just like, fuck it. Let's just figure this shit out ourselves. We really don't have any support. Let's just try to help one another.
Do you feel like the black man let y'all down?
Yes. Yes, yes, and yes.
Talk about that.
Uh, you know, I have been one of the people that have been a very big supporter of Black men for years. And that came from my mom. She used to talk kind of badly about my dad, and I really didn't like it. So I used to feel like, what about the Black man? What about the let's support, let's uplift, let's be there for the Black man, because there are Black women who talk down to Black men, and I don't like that. I was young, didn't understand. But I think what started to let me down about Black men is just, I felt like I always had to defend myself towards a Black man as a Black woman, for how I spoke,
Mhm.
the way I spoke, um, the jobs that I would have, the clothes that I would wear. Like I didn't think that I was any kind of like promiscuous dress or anything like that, but I would get, stop wearing that, or you smile too much, you're too nice. Like there was just, and I'm always getting this from Black men. Like, what do you want me to be as a Black woman in order for you to feel comfortable around me? And I just don't want to have to answer that question anymore. I don't want to have to be something around a Black man in order for him to feel like a Black man. I want to be around, men who are just men without me having to dumb it down and conform and be, this, yes, I shouldn't have to be that in order for you to respect what it is that I'm saying. I should be able to, if I get upset at something, express my frustrations without you telling me that I'm over exaggerating or I'm disrespectful, or, I shouldn't talk like that to a man. Like, it doesn't change the fact that I'm a woman how I speak. It shouldn't change the fact that I'm a woman to you as a man either. And I just don't feel like Black men in general, I don't think they support Black women as much as Black women support
And it's and that I think that come from way back. You know what I mean? I don't think that's something that's intentional. A lot of things, even though we weren't part of the, I guess, the slavery and those things, but a lot of things that has been passed down from one generation on to the next.
them. It's true. And it's not only, I don't think it's only I'm saying Black men and Black women. I don't think it's only our fault, as if we didn't have any, there were people interfering with our family dynamics,
And
that
that's
plays into it also.
and that's a part of that. And even back when slavery, when they will whip the black man in front of, you know what I mean, in front of his family. Or
Yeah.
even now, where they use the government, they use the court system, or the police to do things in front of you, the women or the kids, to make them feel less, or
Yeah.
kind of. weaker. So it's deeper. It's deep. I know what you're saying, but it goes real deep. And I think having this conversation, or just having a conversation about expectations and what you expect as a black woman,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
has to happen.
You said, what do I expect?
Yes.
Um, that is a really good question. I do think that healing is important for men and women, both
Hmm.
black men and black women. And not even only just black and black, because I have nieces who are half Dominican. And
Hmm.
so now my radar, it can't just stay closed in, because these are my family as well, and they have a black side and they have a Spanish side. So this, you know, being a black woman is not just being a black woman to me now, because I have mixed nieces and nephews that I also need to consider at the same time. I don't want them to dislike one side because, the world is upset about one side, and I did start to see that with them. So things are getting, I guess, not necessarily fuzzy. I think eventually things will kind of sort itself out, but these new generation of kids, they might help solve some of these problems, because I can see it within just me by myself, my way of thinking, oh, black women, black women. It's not just black women. I have mixed nieces who are representing themselves as black women, but I don't want them to only represent themselves as black women, because they're not only black women.
Hmm.
I don't want them to forget the Dominican side. I don't want them to be angry at their other half or their other race for not, because they're something different. You're a mixture. You're not black. You're not Spanish. You're a mixture, and I want you to love yourself as you are. And so it's a whole now other thing. So, but healing is definitely necessary for the black man and the black woman, so that we can teach our kids how to be different, no matter if they're mixed or not.
And not passing it down, because a lot of times we, as our parents, or me, I'm a parent or whatever, it's just us passing it down to our child, and they passing it down, kind of stop it where it's at. And like you said, I think this new generation they are getting it. They are protesting more. They do recognize counseling as a form of therapy, as a form of healing. It ain't just for white people,
Right. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
and that's a big thing. We not yeah, basically that. Yep. How you feel about the did you watch the presidential debate? It should take
I
on that.
did not.
I'm sure you saw the memes.
I did though. I think it was more so about a fly on somebody's head or something.
that was the vice president too.
Oh, are you talking about the one with Biden and
Yeah, either or, but either or is good. You
Yeah,
got a chance.
no,
Do you follow that, or you don't care?
no.
You don't
It's
make a
not
difference.
that I don't care. Um, and I was just telling somebody this earlier.
Wait.
I am just trying to get my life together, and I can't sometimes focus on things that are drawing hysteria to everybody else, because then you get wrapped up in the conversation of it. And I'm the type of person that sometimes can get wrapped up, so I have to discipline myself on the things that I can take in, and things that get me upset, like that guy, I just can't. when Black Lives Matter first took off, I got so emotionally involved in it that after a while I had to be like, you know what? I have to back away, because it's taking me away from where my focus is, and it's just giving me these feelings. And I can see what media is doing. That's what media does. That's what they want
Hmm.
to do. So you have to be strong enough to be like, okay, this is enough. I can't do this anymore. Me, it's just, I have this, I don't know if it's empathy, but I feel things. So as I'm hearing these things, as I'm seeing these things on social media, and the killings and all of that, that stuff really, I feel it. So I have to know about it and just kind of push it to the side, let, whoever's handling whatever they're handling, and be okay with telling myself, just because I'm not talking about it like everybody else all day doesn't mean that I don't care.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
have to get back to work. I can't do that all day, or I would be just emotionally upset all day. It's really frustrating to see every day somebody dying on your social media, and that's just not. I can't do it every day.
I totally agree. I feel the same way. Almost to the point where at one point when we was growing up as kids is make sure you put your hand on the steering wheel. Make sure you listen to the officer. Don't do anything. Now it has gone beyond that, where you can just be in your home and just relax and get killed. Or you could be
And
and
get
one
killed.
now, or you could be with your kids. You could be in a car with your kids. It's just like so they really have gotten almost bold
Yeah.
with
Yep.
some of the things they've been doing. And I'm surprised, but not surprised because America was built on a lot of their laws is slavery laws. Like they really need that's what they need to do. They really need to change some of these laws.
Mhm.
And a lot of
And
these
to perform. Yep.
a lot
There's a
of it
lot of
based on
people in jail that shouldn't be, and there's a lot of people that's not in jail that need to be.
100%.
Mhm.
um as a black woman in business, what are some of the barriers that you've come across?
uh, Honestly, the main barrier is just every freaking body thinking that everything is just overly sexual. That is just, it's just the most annoying thing to me. Um, and it's honestly why sometimes I prefer to work with more like LGBT groups, because don't nobody want to do nothing with me and we can get work done. So that's been the hardest part, just working with people who don't have an alternative agenda. Um, and learning how to just accept what I look like and how to just deal with people and how they feel, and literally just continue to do what it is that I have to do. It is exhausting having to deal with people that, come to you with business, and then 10, 15 minutes into the conversation, they're trying to take you out or hang out or do something, and it has nothing to do with business when you're the type of person that's all about business. So it's like waste of time. But that's pretty much the biggest barrier for me. But other than that, none. All of the other barriers have been self-inflicted. They've been me and my fears getting in my own way, or me letting people kind of get in the way of me doing something that I ultimately wanted to do. But other than that, people trying to, sleep with me or hit on me and shit like that, there's none. I don't see any barriers.
I like that you said far as the other parts of your barriers are self-inflicted. What do you think keeps people from, I guess, being consistent on their goals?
Um, it's funny because subconsciously, one way or another, we're always consistent with our goals. I think that the overthinking sometimes, because when we're overthinking, we stay still in our thoughts and in our being. But if we were more subconscious with it, like more allowing, then we would see that subconsciously we're always doing better. We're always doing the right thing, the next best thing. It always happens subconsciously. It's not till we start to think and put, that's why I said self-inflicted. We start to put like, oh, I'm not where I want to be. And oh, it's not happening fast enough, instead of just appreciating the one little thing that happened in that moment to be able to carry you to the next moment. So taking baby steps as opposed to wanting to just leap.
And I think that's hard for me as well. Um, you have to appreciate, and we should be appreciating our little steps. Sometimes, like I said, I want to get from A to Z without understanding everything that's in between. You want it, you want instant gratification, you want it right now.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's totally not the way the world works. And I
Mhm.
think,
But it does. Don't you? And it does. But you have to be open to seeing it, because if I say something like, "Oh, I want to have a good day where I get some good advice today," but I'm thinking about money instead of the advice. I might have got advice 20 times
okay.
that day that I could use, and I'd have been like, "Oh, that's good. I got my blessing immediately." But I'm so focused over here on what's not here that I missed it. Missed the opportunity to just feel the blessing, to feel the answer to my prayers being to feel the answer to my prayers being given to me in that immediate moment for that instant gratification.
Hmm.
So for example, like this morning, I was writing down my intentions for the day, and I had said something like, I want today to make sure that I have clarity. And maybe 10, not even 10 seconds, few minutes later, the girl who I came back from dinner with just now, she had called me and we had a really good conversation, and she gave me an exchange of information that I needed, that I didn't know that I needed. And it wasn't until after she said it when I felt the blessing, like, oh, I just asked for clarity and now I have it because you just gave it to me. And there was times where that used to happen before, but I was so focused on whatever that I missed that in the conversation I was getting the thing that I had just asked for. And it went right over my head. But today I actually was like, wait a minute, this is exactly what I just asked for. And I thanked her. I said, thank you for this exchange of information that we're having, because you're giving me clarity and I wanted to have clarity for today.
Hmm.
And now I'm having this conversation with you, and the whole time we're talking, I haven't thought about anything. This is all just clarity. I'm speaking to you from just this place where there's no real thoughts happening. This is me from my heart, from my brain, and everything. Every question you ask me is just flowing. So
Yeah, you studied. You studying. Um, One of the comments you just made, far as not that we aren't consistent. You said we consistent, but maybe with the wrong goals. And I think that's important too. That we are always are consistent, but it's not probably with the right goals we have in mind. So we
yep,
consistently in a bad relationship or consistently waking up late. We are doing the same. We are doing what we're supposed to do, but not the right way. And we just got to find some way to kind of channel that to be the right way.
yep,
Do you think that's the reason people are afraid to kind of quit their job and go full time into their dreams?
yes. Because you don't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect. And after everything was just happening. And had I been able to do it again, I would have, just smarter. But I can see why, if somebody else that wasn't prepared for everything, or didn't have the guts to take that leap, because you not only do you have to have the guts to take the leap, you have to be able to land no matter where you fall. So it's not only about taking the leap and getting started, you have to be willing to ride it out to see where it goes. Because if I would have just got down here and never did anything, or never continued on what my journey was, then I'd have just been, doing the same thing I was doing up in New York, working a job, being regular, going out to eat and stuff like that. So you have to have an agenda. You have to no. If you have an agenda, it will create that discipline to create that consistency. Because it's like, now I wake up and I can't think of anything else that I will be doing with my life. And there was a point in time where I used to wake up and have to juggle. I have to go to work today, but I also want to do what I want to do for my business. And I had to choose at one point. Now, from manifesting, I didn't want to work a 9 to 5 anymore. I wanted to work from home. I wanted to be able to work from home and be able to have freedom to do whatever it is I needed to do throughout the day and still have money in my pocket. And even though it took some time, eventually I made it. So I work from home now. I can have the freedom to go wherever I want to go, when I want to go. I can decline a client. I can do this. I can do that. But it didn't start off that way. I had to work to get here. That's what the dog walking and Uber. some people, they measure their success with money. Mine wasn't a money. It's not a money success. It's more of a, I told myself that I wanted something and I went after it. I know in my heart that I'm here for something and I'm going to find it. And the more I get closer to whatever those are, that's success for me.
Love it. I definitely like that. And that goes to my next question, because I know sometimes for you, I know you said it was bigger than money, but do you think for some people it's a mindset issue or a lack of money or finance issue?
It's all of the above for any individual person, and it could be at any given time too, because sometimes you might have the thoughts but not the resources, and then you might have the resources but you don't know what to do with that money, and then sometimes you have a little bit of both. You got a little bit of money, a little bit of resources, but it's just not enough for you to take it off. So I think each individual person will have their own unique struggle when it comes to trying to figure out how to, get your entrepreneurship off and up and running. But that's honestly the beauty of it, because what I'm realizing is that everybody has to go through it, and sometimes what you're good at in relationship to what somebody else is good at can come together and create what's supposed to be done. So you might not always have all the pieces. I only know how to do project management. I don't like doing accounting. I find somebody who can do my accounting and I can help them with their, project management, then together we can make something beautiful happen together. So learning how to let people be great in what they are great in, and knowing what you're good at and what you bring to the table will kind of help with figuring all of this out.
Right, right. Dope. A lot of times, I guess even as humans, we always evolve in a new versus the old, new habits versus old habits. How do you deal with that? How do you handle that? Trying to break those old habits and to build on new habits.
First, I am super easy on myself when it comes to things like that. I used to be really hard on myself, and that's one of the things that I've learned, and I wish to teach other people too, is that we don't have to be hard on ourselves. I think a lot of us, especially as people of color, we're hard on ourselves because we most of us come from lack, and our
Hmm.
parents teach us how to just be strong and
Survive.
do right, right, and we end up being like that on ourselves, and it doesn't help us. It doesn't feel good. It keeps us in a mind state that is of lack or survival mode, and everything just seems so harder down there. That was my main mission, was to get my mental together, to get my mind from thinking about lack to thinking about abundance. And it was, and still is, a struggle. It's hard, just us, because we're not taught like that. We're not taught to think positive. We're very rarely spoken to highly and as positive when we're younger. It's always go sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, do that, So there's a lot of mental reprogramming that I had to do to myself to awaken things about me that I knew about me, but that weren't playing in my head. They weren't rerunning in my mind as much as they should have been. Like, I am beautiful, I'm confident, I'm amazing, I can do this, I can do anything. I can. So the things that were playing in my mind were, you got to pay the bills, you got to pay your rent, your car note is due, you don't have enough money for this, you don't have enough money for that. And those things were what was playing in my mind, which kept me employed. It kept my job, it kept me having a nice car, I have money to do stuff, but it just wasn't, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel good to wake up, and I used to like hop out the bed like and jump to go catch the train, and everything was fast, 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 fast from work back home. It was just it wasn't the type of life that I wanted for myself, and so I sought out to see how can I have a more peaceful, happy, calmer, clearer life. And I just went on the journey and was like, I guess this is how you do it. Started meditating, and meditation probably changing my life, honestly.
I've been getting a little bit into meditation and stuff like that, and I'm slowly, I know it's a process. I gotta really kind of, because your mind wants to wander.
Yep.
It wants to start thinking about what you cooking, what you eat today, what that
Yep.
kind. You start thinking about you start
Or
thinking
is
about
this working? Or why am I meditating?
why am I meditating? Why are you meditating? Same thing. But I do think it's what you said, as far as we just wasn't. We always, like I said, we always taught to survive instead of thrive. Like
Yeah.
we always worrying. We just like you said, we just trying to live. We just trying to
Mm,
get to tomorrow.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it's important for us, and even what you said, kind of shifting that thought process, or shifting that mindset to thriving. But for someone that's going through it or in it, what are some key things, I guess, that can help them shift that mindset from surviving to thriving?
Belief. That's the biggest thing, is believing in what it is that you're telling yourself, because it works both ways. And this is how I always combat my thoughts. I ask myself, like, is that really true about myself, or is it just how I'm feeling, or is it because something made me feel this way, or
Hmm.
is this true? um and even with the good stuff, in the beginning, convincing myself that like abundance was a thing and prosperity was a thing, that from where I ain't never heard that growing up, abundance and prosperity and gratitude, and the hell y'all talking about? But to be willing to make a change, to be curious enough to find out if that even works, is all the change that you need. Because once you get started, no, you don't, one day meditate and it works. It takes a very long time. I've been meditating now, it must be about maybe 6 years, give or take. And at first, the first year or two was like, is is this meditation? I don't know what I'm doing. But you start to see the results just in your day to day. It's not an instant thing. It's literally supposed to quiet all those thoughts that are running around and make room for a clearer thought. That's the only agenda. And I wish that somebody would have said that to me early on, because then I'd be like, oh, okay. But it's something that I had to learn over time, that, oh, okay, your thoughts, they're never going to stop. You need your thoughts. But what that meditation does is it just puts a little wedge from overthinking and or underthinking, and gives you room to just have some space to have a next best thought. And that next best thought can change the trajectory of your life. Honestly,
Hmm.
you if you meditate before a big decision, and before you meditated, before that big decision, you were thinking so much doubtful thoughts like, oh, it's not going to work, I'm scared. And then you go meditate and you come out of that meditation. Now, you may come out that meditation still scared. It's not a win all for everybody, but let's say you did meditate, and during that meditation, you were able to calm everything down. All the thoughts were set aside, and your next best thought was, you know what, you can still try. And you get up and you go try. It's little and subtle things like that that just keep compiling on top of each other. So meditation is not just a end all be all, and it's not a one day thing. It's something that you have to consistently keep doing in order to continuously clear those pathways, so that, excuse me, so that you live in that decision making. So now that's where I am now. I'm good enough at meditation that I can even walk down the block and be meditating, to where I'm not thinking about work. I'm not worried about what's going on in the street. I'm listening to the birds
Of
and
course, well, listen to the cars.
the cars, right? Listening to the cars and the birds. That's meditating, because I'm not stressing about this, that, and the third. That's a form of meditation. going to the gym is meditation. So there's different things that you can do to meditate. It doesn't all have to be the hum, because I don't do that either.
So it's about keeping you in the present.
Exactly. Exactly. Do whatever it takes for you to stay in the present, in the moment, so that you can catapult your next moment.
So I think a lot of times we don't do things because things are hard. We feel they hard, but as you said it, you work jobs and you got to do the hard things to kind of get you to where you need to be, where you need to be. Why do you think our first instinct is to avoid the hard things?
Fear, uncomfortability. I
Hmm.
get it. A lot of, and the main thing that people are afraid of sometimes is just being alone with themselves and their own thoughts. A lot of people just want to be around people so they don't have to think. And that's not good either. You sometimes it's good to disconnect from people, from the world, and really try to figure out what you got going on, as opposed to just being around a whole bunch of people and never really dealing with yourself. I know a lot of people that would rather deal with a bunch of people than deal with themselves,
Hmm.
and then they wonder why they're unhappy.
Do you think how a person thinks of himself limits their potential?
Yep, hands down. Because how somebody sees themselves, everybody is a mirror for somebody else. No matter who you come in contact with, you are bound to see yourself, and that person is going to see themselves in you. If you don't think highly of yourself and you're around somebody who is somebody that thinks highly of themselves, you're never going to see it that in that person, because your experiences won't allow you to see past what you can't see for yourself. So you will always dislike that person, or that
Hmm.
person will make you feel uncomfortable, or you will find a problem with the person where there is none, because you have problems with yourself, but you won't admit it because you won't spend time and deal with whatever is going on with you.
do you I guess do you feel free?
Yes, I do.
And what does freedom require? What has it required?
It has required me to fall in love with myself from head to toe. Just falling in love with my voice, the things that I have to say, understanding that I matter, my feelings matter,
Mm-hmm.
my experiences matter. Um, Talking to people about my experiences matter, because I never used to think anybody even cared, but realizing that some of the stuff that I've been through can help somebody else. Um, so yeah.
If you could visit any part of history, where would you go? Why?
For some reason, my soul is stuck in the 60s as somewhere, somehow. Um, One of my favorite singers is Otis Redding.
Okay.
And I just feel like I should have been here around that time when it was just like black and beautiful and Afro
Someone
and
told me that.
just.
Another female told me the same thing. They like that during that time.
I belonged, yeah, I should have been here during that time. That was definitely, if I could have, I'd have been here around that time. All the pimps and all of that.
um, want you to just finish this sentence. Being around the wrong people in the wrong environment will what?
Get you fucked up.
Yeah.
No, it's not good for business. There we go.
Do you think? And you said it earlier. Do you think the college degree, is necessary?
No, it's not. But to each his own. I'm not downgrading it, but if you feel like you need it for your industry, then go right
What is one memory you hope you never forget?
ahead. um, that is Interesting. One memory I hope I never forget. Um, honestly, I would have to say my 5th grade prom. Did you go to 63?
No, fifth grade is no. I wasn't. No, I ain't go to 63. I went to 110.
So no, you wasn't there. But my 5th grade prom, my mom, she actually came. She was supposed to walk me to the prom, and she ended up coming in her little Daisy Duke shorts, and she was dancing with all the little boys from my school, and I was so embarrassed. But looking back on that day, I hope I never forget that moment because it just showed me how cool my mom was.
Mm-hmm.
Because the boys still ask about her to this day. How's your mom doing, Emily? Don't worry about my mom, damn it.
So 63 is over there. I don't know where 63 at.
It's right there on Boston Road. Well, that's the back of the building. It's over there by
The library.
It's up the block from 148.
Oh, so there's that library. It's like the library
Yep.
is next to it. And my little
Yep.
brothers went to that school.
Yep.
Little dirty school.
Yep.
Um.
Yep.
What's the story behind your last post? It ain't gotta be a story, but
Which post?
your last one. I don't know how many.
Where's my phone? Oh, I'm on my phone. I don't remember what my post was. What'd you say?
I don't know. You don't know.
A lot of shit. Yo. I think it wasn't the picture.
I mean, they're all pictures, right?
I think it was prayed up, I got nothing to lose. That, if that's the one we're talking about, then that quote actually comes from a song that I really like. There's this group called Oshun, and one of the singers, she says that in the song. She says, "Prayed up, I got nothing to lose." And what that basically means is I'm protected. So I've delved into African spirituality as a part of my journey, and just realizing that I'm protected no matter what, because I do my due diligence. I pray. I do my meditation. I'm on my path. So regardless of what anybody or anything has going on around me, or any weapons against me trying to form, that I'm prayed up, so I'm good. You can do what you want. I'm good.
Love it. What's your ultimate goal?
Woo! My ultimate goal is to really get all of these visions of my life, my ideal life, and the success that I wish to achieve, just to get all of that stuff finally out of my system. Like, I can't wait to. I want to be on like shows like Dancing with the Stars as a guest dancer. Like, I want to do so much stuff that's just fun, but that come with after you kind of made it. So I already know that something is gonna make me get to a point where the world is gonna know me. My godfather, on his deathbed, he told me that I was gonna do something great in the world, and honestly, that's something that has been my motivation as well. But now I'm kind of like seeing past that. Okay, something hits. I'm at the pinnacle, fine, cool. But then I want to spend the rest of this life that I've created just enjoying it, like dancing and flying here and going there, just a lot of stuff that I've never been able to do. And I think by me making it, that'll give way to me being able to do a lot of stuff that I've always wanted to, like play mass. Dying to go to Trinidad and play mass, but not as just a regular person. I want to be up there, like, hey, that's Emily.
Right. Now I dig it. 100%. This is gonna be my last question. How do you want to be remembered?
Because I feel like I was made with a bunch of love that's just really unique, and people they don't come like me a lot, and I want as many people to have been touched in some way by the type of love that I was sent here to give. So whether it's a fan of somebody else's artist that I've helped, or if it's from me directly, I still want to just be remembered and known for being unconditional love in human form.
Great, man.
Honestly.
You just had them perfect answers all night.
That's that clarity I
That
told
clarity,
you.
that clarity is coming on. But first and foremost, I definitely want to just thank you for allowing me to just interview you. And this just should have been happening. I know y'all spoke about it for a while, but
Divine timing. I probably wouldn't have been ready before.
not that, and also with just me, it's just it feels right now. It feels right to do things that I want to do and push forward and with my life, and like you said, not worrying about a job or gotta rush, gotta do this, about living on your own time and stuff right now. So I definitely
Right.
want to just thank you for even, what I mean, allowing me to do this. It's been
No,
it's been it's been fun,
anytime.
man. It's been definitely cool.
This is really, really cool. And I love the fact that this is also kind of what I like to do. When you know somebody, the conversation is just so much better. We were able to have a conversation about everything. And
Yeah.
it bases off of not only I know you, but you're a great interviewer because you kept on your questions.
Yeah, man, but it's like I've been yeah, definitely more pursuing this route and thinking about school, thinking about should I just go, think about a lot of things, but definitely journalism been for me just been it's been a love and just been more of a love for it just recently. And
Mm,
it's been on my heart for a while. And now I'm gonna go full force with it and
that's
everything
right.
I'm trying to
You
do.
better.
100%. So when you up there, I'll see you too. I'll probably interview you at the red carpet or something.
Okay.
We're gonna put that out there, man. Put that all out there. But
That's
definitely,
where I want to see my people. I want to see you at the top right along with me. That's
definitely,
it.
it's been fun. So definitely let them know where they could. Yeah, I don't even know if you want Instagram followers. You just said.
Now they can follow me on Instagram or whatever. No.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, so definitely follow her. She's gonna give me and get Instagram.
So you can find me on Instagram at dope DOPE_CHOLO and the number 8. So it's dope chocolate. And it should say Ebby baby because I think there's a few more dope chocolates now that popped up.
But they copying. They copying.
They trying to copy me now.
They trying to copy you. Yeah, so thank you. It's about the action. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you. And anytime, just let me know and I'll make time for you.
Yes, definitely, man. You got some more artists, man. You send them my way. We
Okay,
make
look, I got people. Just let me
listen,
know what time.
I already know.
I told you
Thank
I'm a plug.
I already know. Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
I already too.
Bye bye.